What's up, everyone? Patrick here from Mindful Ambition, and I just wanted to share with you a quick video about how I do the Carpe Diem journal process from Optimize, something we use in our Optimize Coach program and as part of our Optimize Mastery series. And for me, has become my far and away favorite journaling practice. It's something I use literally every day, and it makes a tremendous difference in the clarity I feel about how I go about my day, the satisfaction and fulfillment that I feel at the end of my days. And I'm generally more productive, more focused, more energized, and just a better version of myself when I'm doing this practice consistently. So I'm going to take a quick minute to share this practice with you. Hope you enjoy. So Carpe Diem journaling, where does that name come from? Well, the name Carpe Diem, seize the day. Carpe actually maybe more literally means to pluck the day. But it really reminds me of this quote from Annie Dillard, which is, how we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. And so the Carpe Diem journaling practice is about connecting with the insight that our lives are made up of individual days. And if it's the case that our lives matter and we want to make the most of our lives, then today matters. And we want to make the most of today if we are to make the most of our life. And so the basic structure of the Carpe Diem journal practice is something we call the big 3 times 2 at Optimize. And the big 3 are energy, work, and love. Lots of these E, W, and L are. And that comes from the insight of there's a lot of different ways we can break down life. There's lots of different categories and areas of life we can set goals for. And sometimes it can be a little overwhelming to try and think about 10, 12, 15 different areas of life all at once. And so this is a way of distilling, essentially saying, work and love are what make us human. Those are the essential elements of our lives. And if our energy isn't right, then we're not going to be able to show up particularly well towards our work, the profession or the career or the calling that we feel to contribute our gifts to the world. And we're not going to be able to show up particularly well in our relationships. And so there's energy is sort of the foundation here, which naturally feeds into how we show up in our work and how we show up in our love. So that's the first big 3. And then the second big 3 is identities, virtues, and behaviors. And I'll walk us through that through the course of this process. So the journal is a simple 3x3 grid. And what you do is you start in each category. You start with energy, then you go into work, and you go into love. And you make your way through the second half of this, the identities, the virtues, and the behaviors. So what do I mean by that? Identity is essentially the inquiry of who are you when you're at your best, energy-wise, work-wise, and in your loving relationships. What's the version of you? How would you characterize the version of you that shows up when you're really at your best in these different areas? So, for example, maybe you show up as an athlete energetically. That's something that's inspiring to you and helps you really commit to honoring your energy. Maybe in work, you're a leader, and that's something that is inspiring to you, connects with something bigger than yourself. Maybe love-wise, you're a connector. And I'm using these as general examples, but this is a really powerful exercise to reflect on, how do I show up when I'm at my best in these areas? I've been playing with radiant, world-class athlete for my energy identity. It's not necessarily true of who I am in this moment, but it's really inspiring to me to continue to live my life in a way that can get me towards that status or that identity and embodying that as much as I can. work-wise these days, my identity is astonishing catalytic force, trying to catalyze the growth and the potential and the full expression of my clients and my teammates and everyone that I work with. And then love-wise, it's sort of a playfulness around being fully myself, Patrick AF. So who are you when you're at your best energy-wise, work-wise, and in your loving relationships? That's the first thing to get clear on. Connect with your identities. And then you make it a little more tangible and say, okay, what are the virtues or the qualities or values that you embody when you're being that version of you? So for example, maybe an athlete is disciplined, they're consistent, and they're energized. And I'm just making up examples here to illustrate it a little clearer. A leader might be present, focused, and decisive. They also might be confident, calm, caring. And you can go on here. You don't need to limit it. You can really get creative with connecting within yourself of what are the qualities or the ways that I show up when I really am showing up at my best. And then love-wise, a connector, you're likely to be loving, warm, considerate, present as well. You get the idea. And then from there, you make it even more tangible. So what you do next is you go into behaviors. So we're asking, what's the number one or maybe the top three most important actions or behaviors for you to take in order to be this version of yourself in each of these areas today? So maybe for the athlete, their number one is their workout. Or maybe it's getting to bed early for a full night of sleep. For a leader, maybe their number one is deep work on, fill in the blank project. Whatever the most important project is that they're working on right now. And maybe for the connector, their number one is family dinner, being fully present, connecting with their family. And so what you have when you do this process is a really quick look at who am I committed to being today? How actually does that version of me show up? Making it a little more tangible, a little more real. And then what's the number one most important thing for me to do in that area of life today to express that best version of myself? And what you find when you've done this process is this tremendous sense of clarity. You've set yourself a target for how you want to show up today and really what would make today an amazing day. It'd be hard pressed to have a bad day when it's the case that you know who you are when you're at your best, how they show up, the number one most important things to do that. And then when you actually do that, it feels amazing. So again, this is all about this insight of how we spend our days is how we spend our lives. And if you want to make the most of your life, that begins today. So Carpe Diem journaling, love it, amazing practice. If you want to learn more, you want to go deeper in practices like this, I encourage you to check out Optimize. You can go to optimize.me. And if you want to learn more about our coach program, you can go to optimize.me/coach. And put this into practice. Check it out. Let me know how you like it. I hope you find it helpful. It's been tremendously impactful in my life. and super excited to have you tuned into this. So once again, big 3 times 2, energy, work, love, times, identities, virtues, and behaviors. Who are you when you're at your best? How does that version of you show up? And what's the number one thing that you can do today in this moment to express that best version of you? When you do that more and more consistently, find that we spiral up, living a better and better life. So sending lots of love. Hope you enjoy. Peace.